We have a lot of good running backs in this class. Ranking them is damn hard, especially when we get to the middle of the pack, because draft capital matters, landing spot matters, because there's a lot of talent here. We got a lot of differences in these running backs too. A lot of different types of running backs, some good pass catchers, some guys with bursts, some pounders, just a lot of everything. But the thing is, there's so much talent here. Things can go in different directions. So the NFL draft matters a lot. We'll also get some more data from the combine. But when it comes to athleticism, we kind of already know from the tape. We just need those solid numbers just to really solidify where we're at on them. But honestly, we're pretty good looking at the tape from this year's batch of rookies. But let's rank them, put them into tiers for this week, and see where we're at. See if anything has changed. We do this once a week on the channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. If you watched a few of these, you might as well do it, because you're going to want to keep attuned to this, because things are going to change after the combine, and I'm going to have a lot of the combine on this channel. I did a lot last year. I'm going to double or triple that, because I know that's what you guys want. But let's get this started. S tier, I hope you can guess this. I hope you can figure this one out. It's Bijan. He is the 105 in startup drafts, the RB1. Whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, you got the 101. You can just make that deal and get some picks, get some assets. You can just sell out. You've never been able to do that with the 101 rookie pick ever before. You can do that now with Bijan. That's the first time. So he has to be there no matter where he goes in the draft. He cannot bust on you at all. You can only bust with him. And what I mean by that is his value is already so high that when you draft him or whatever you do now, you can make that deal. You can kick the tires and see what happens. Even if he falls on his head, breaks his neck, still you could have dealt that pick. That's on you. We already know where the value's at. We already know. That's the thing. The value's there. It's how you play it. And if the dice roll bad, it's on you, because we already know the value. I'd be kicking the tires just to see what comes in return, and just in case. Or know that you can just roll Bijan Robinson. You're getting one of the best running back prospects we see. A running back prospect we usually see in about once every 10 years, or a couple, one or two every 10 years. That's probably about the right ratio. But again, this value is so high right now that you can't ignore the cost of entry, the price on the market. You can swing it both ways, but he can return a lot right now. Tier A is when things get interesting. Like Jimmy Gibbs, more than likely will be the RB2 drafted, the second RB off the board, maybe even in the first round, high-end second round. Not really much of a difference in that range of outcomes. Zach Charbonnet, 3-down pounder, catches the ball out of the backfield. Should go into a situation where he's getting a lot of workload. Sean Tucker. There's some people that are down on him. I'm not. I think he's shown a lot in his profile. His 2021 season, he showed that he carried the load. Last season, he showed that he can run a lot of routes, get targeted downfield, catch the ball. Bad acuity targets going his way with bad quarterback play. If you watched the tape, some of those were off the mark. It's very explosive. This is a track guy. This is a guy that can really burn the track, and he should weigh somewhere like 210-ish pounds, 205, 210, 215. It doesn't matter the exact weight at the combine. When you look at his build, he's stacked, he's thick, he's got enough to him to really hold it down. Then we're going with Zach Evans. He is a big wild card. Big wild card. The thing is, the upside's so grand. The downside is real grand. If I was an NFL team, there's some safer prospects. On top of that, though, he is an athletic guy that can really turn things on its head once he sees the open field. The draft's going to really matter for his stock in Dynasty. Tier B is not much different from last week. Tank Bigsby, Kendre Miller, Izzy, Devin Achane, Kenny McIntosh. I like Devin Achane. I like him a lot. There are people that like him a lot more than me. There's some people that have him up around this range. I feel like I'm higher than a lot of people too when I got him up here. Some people are completely out on him because he's 185 pounds. I kind of understand that. He's explosive. We need volume. And the thing is, Kenny McIntosh can give you that, and he's got size. I like Kenny McIntosh. A lot of people don't talk about him that much, But it's hard to when you got all these running backs here. Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby. I know I'm transitioning kind of quick, but Tank Bigsby here has got some size. He's explosive. Played behind a poor offensive line at Auburn. Does not have the long speed. Needs to take the hitch off the trailer. But the thing is, he could get that draft capital. High-end 4-star recruit coming out of high school. Can really hold it down between the tackles. Somewhere around here. I think Kendre Miller's going to get draft capital. He's got size, got burst, 220-pound back. Izzy may not, but he might because he's got enough size and enough athleticism. I'm going to put him here because draft capital is going to matter. I see him falling in some mocks, but mocks aren't really draft capital either. But it's just a tier, so I don't know where to put him. But when it comes to full body of work, he's kind of above Devin. Kenny's kind of a wild card because he's on a good team with Georgia, holding it down there, catching the balls out of the backfield, really good as a receiver out of the backfield, very explosive. I would love to have him on my NFL team, just have him in the committee and throw some targets his way to just see if he can hang it loose, score on there. And I'm going to add a guy to Tier B. I think he needs to be here, and that's Rashawn Johnson. And he might be in the range here. The size, the burst, the athleticism. A lot of talk that he might be rising draft boards. It's hard to ignore him. Yeah, at the end of the day, he might be worth more than Zach Evans. He might be. Like, where he goes in draft is going to matter. It's for all these guys here in Tier B. Tier A as well. Evans is a big wild card, but the athleticism's huge. However, athleticism is good with Kendre or Rashawn Johnson. If you do size-adjusted athleticism, Kenny McIntosh has got burst. Devin Achane has a good wild card. Izzy's got some burst. This is a stacked running back class. This is what I was talking about in the intro. Going to Tier C. So Tier C is the mid-tier guys that I like. I like Tajay. I like him a lot. I think he's got a lot of burst, catches the ball out of the backfield. I like Kendre over him. More size, adjusted speed, more explosive. Power 5 production. Rashawn Johnson, just a hammer with athleticism. Tank Bigsby, 4-star prowess, SEC competition. You really can't hang with him. He can hold it down all 3 downs. I wouldn't be surprised if he falls in the draft a little bit. I don't look for him to really blow up the combine. I look for him to be just solid back. I don't look for him to be an explosive top-tier back, but I could see it happen with volume. Kenny McIntosh is very explosive out of the backfield. He's got that speed. He can catch the ball. I like that. Izzy, same thing. I would like more receiving production out of him, more in the passing game. But again, what he did last year was very good. Devin Achane's a big wild card. Like, a lot of people like him. Like, the fantasy football community wants him, like, right around here. But you really have to think things through here. That he does have the talent to produce, but he also has the size, and if he goes in the right spot, coaching changes too with his team. A lot of variables here that could really impact him because he doesn't have the size for a 3-down workload. He's a jigsaw piece that could be more, but he's also a jigsaw piece that could be less. B's kind of right. Back into B-ish. That's kind of right. That's kind of safe. You want to put him at A because you see the sexy. But if you put him at B, you kind of see where he's kind of safe because you can also see and make the case that he could be a C or D player. And you don't want to take that risk either. When you put him in Tier A or C and D, they're kind of risky for him because you can't really see him being like a top 5 back in the league. You don't see him having that upside. Like, I can see that upside with Zach Charbonnet for a little bit, get enough volume because he's a guy who has the workload like that in college and the size. Same with Jahmyr Gibbs. Sean Tucker with his volume in the passing game with that uber production. Zach Evans with the size and athleticism. Even with like a Kendre Miller or Rashawn Johnson, Tank Bigsby. The thing is, like, his upside's so grand you can't risk him in C, D, or E either. So right there just seems like the right spot. That is my rationale here. So I like Tajay Spears. I think he's a good prospect. I'm not hating on him. C is like A in any other class. Look at it that way. C is like A in any other class. If he was in last year's class, He'd be somewhere like A tierish. A tierish, B tierish, somewhere like that. C is a good spot to be in. One guy I just want to call out, and he's going to fall in the draft. Maybe be undrafted, I don't know. But I like him a lot, and I'm coming away with him in a lot of drafts. I might have him ranked a little lower, I don't know. But I'm not coming away in the later rounds without Evan Hall. I'm just not. I'm just planting that flag there. Too much work in the passing game with that size. That's what I want to chase. That is something I want to chase. And I like Evan Hall. I also like Eric Gray. I just like the body of work that I saw from Tennessee and Oklahoma. I like what I see on tape. Has just enough size to get it done. It's going to be a later round pick. He's an older running back due to staying an extra year. We had some craziness in Oklahoma in 2021. And I like what I see on tape. People were talking about him last year in 2021 when we thought he was coming out for the draft that he was going to be one of the top running backs. Now we're here. I'm going to have him in Tier C. And I have him in Tier C because I think he's a good player. And he's a guy I'm shooting for in drafts. Tier D, this is another tier that I'm shooting for. But I'm really shooting for the guys in Tier C. Tier D, just a little bit less. Let's call it like that. Deuce Vaughn. He's a guy that is small. He's 5'6", just already saying the odds are against him, but the production's there. When you look at the price, where he's going in rookie drafts, you're looking at 312, 401, 402, 404, 403, somewhere around that range. It's like a what the hell pick. And then what's left on the board, more than likely, Evan Hall, Muhammad Ibrahim, a few other backs, and they're all wild cards. Evan Hall, I like better than Deuce due to size, prowess in the passing game. Deuce's size is scary. I can see where he can surprise us, but we're not betting on that. 4th round picks are never bets. Also, I like Chase Brown. I like what he did this year. Had damn near 100 yards in almost every game. Very productive. Can be used in the passing game. Can be explosive. That's what I like to see. Another running back that I like, Muhammad Ibrahim. Old running back, but he had that Achilles injury. Came back with like over 1,600 yards or so rushing, if I remember right. Damn near 100 yards in every game. Some 200-yard games. Very productive. He's one of the most productive running backs in all college football last year, and he's had multiple seasons of production. Before the injury, he was touted as one of the top running backs in college football. Muhammad Ibrahim's talented. He could be a late-round steal. He's very efficient. He can grind it out. Of course, he's not a burner. Not all the running backs are going to be burners, especially this late in the draft. But he's going to give you size. He's going to give you power. He's going to give you ball security. He's going to make the right reads. He's going to do the right things. And he's going to churn out the yards, keep the chains moving. And he could hold some value. That's what I like about him. So let's start with E. Maybe move some guys up a bit. Dwayne McBride. Tape looks good when he's running the ball, but there's no tape of him catching the ball because he's only got like 5 catches on his career. Limits his upside. Has size, though. Could hold it down. Could have some fantasy value for a little bit. But the odds against him being a receiving back, having that floor from catching balls out of the backfield is not good. Something you don't want to chase. Something you don't want to invest in. Plus a G5 guy. G5 backs. Less likely to hit, even though there's still a chance here. I don't want to bet on a G5 back that doesn't catch balls out of the backfield. But again, if the price is right, I'll invest. But the same thing. And let's talk about small school backs with Cam Peoples. Added to the list. Again, I'm not in love with them. Not in love with this tape. Not in love with the size-speed ratio. And he's a guy that I'm not chasing at all. Unless he falls in a grand situation. And he's not going to get the draft capital. Not with all these other running backs here. They're going to really dilute things out. Some of these small school guys are going to catch a hurting in this draft because we got some Power 5 guys with some goods in their game. And then Keaton Mitchell, dude's got some speed. He's got some wiggle. You can really put him here or here, wherever you really want. I really want to see where he goes in the draft. Draft capital's going to matter, but he's got some speed, a little bit of elusiveness. Again, another G5 guy that you want to see where he goes in the draft. Might get diluted out. Then we got Chris Rodriguez. Would have been more productive this year if he didn't get suspended. would have had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Turned out production in SEC competition. I'm going to move him up here. I'm not that much in love with him. I like Muhammad Ibrahim a little better. Chase Brown was very impressive this year. Deuce Vaughn's a wild card. Draft status, where he goes in draft matters. C and D are very similar. Just C's more the guys I'm planting on a bit right now, of those ladder backs. Those smaller school G5 guys, older prospect backs, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. Misfit Island backs, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. But I like them. I like Tajay Spears. Some people like Tajay Spears so much, they have him up here. Like, that's crazy. I have Rashawn Johnson here. I wouldn't be surprised if it's all said and done. Rashawn Johnson's up here. I'm moving him up pretty high. Tajay Spears, some people got him up here. He's a little too slender. For that. I see the production. Also a G5 guy. You gotta weigh that in account. I see the goods in his game. You could put him here if you really want to. I don't really care that much. Or maybe around there. Draft capital is going to be very telling. Very telling here. Is he going to go in the third round? Because I don't see him going in the second. Is he going to go third? Is he maybe early fourth? I don't know. He's really going to have to turn things on in the combine. I think he's going to have a good combine. The size adjusted speed is going to matter, though. Like, he's going to have to run real good because he's in the low 200-pound range. So that's going to be interesting. Deuce Vaughn's not going to have a good combine, I don't think. I don't think that's going to have a good size adjusted speed to his name unless he sneaks up on us. Like, he'll run good, but he ain't going to run good towards his size. That's really going to put some ick on him. I think so. Rashawn Johnson's going to have a damn good combine if he runs. Tank Bigsby's not. Kenny McIntosh should look good. Should be explosive. At least have a good vertical. Should be really good. Devin Achane, he's saying that he's going to run the 4.2s. I imagine he'll have something good. Izzy should have some good size adjusted speed. Kendrick Miller's size adjusted speed should be good. That's when the 40 times baked with his overall height and weight. Sean Tucker's a track guy. Ran track at Syracuse. Place, I think it was 13th out of 26, and he just showed up and ran, which is solid. Track guy out of high school. Won state a few times. I forget what it was. 100-meter hurdles or whatever. 100 meters. I forget. But he was really good in track coming out of high school. Zach Charbonnet is not going to be a 40 winner. He's not going to win the 40. We know what he is. He's a pounder. He's a grinder. He can do everything. A little bit of everything. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He can block. He's aggressive. He's assertive. Reads things well. Maybe moves laterally a little too much. Maybe a little bit of that. But again, everything's solid. Jahmyr Gibbs should run well. Bijan should run all right. Good MPH numbers, miles per hour numbers on some of his runs in the 20 miles per hour range. I'm not even worried about that. The 22 miles per hour what he was gauged at from a year or so ago tells more than the 40 time. And him pulling away on tape, when you see guys pulling away, not getting ran down, and the angles are right, that tells more than the 40 time. We see guys run a good 40, post good size adjusted speed, but then you go on tape, they don't unhitch the trailer, and they get caught from behind, and they don't run to that 40 time. Remember, they train for it. You really got to use the 40 time as a gauge, and then use the tape as a gauge, and you kind of mish and mash it. Honestly, if they're not pulling away on tape, or if they're not looking like the 40 time on tape, then it might not be what you think it is. But honestly, you can't ignore it either. So it's all in abundance. And you really have to count everything and not double count things as well. That's what I think. But when I think about these rankings right now, Rashawn Johnson's the huge riser for me. He keeps rising by the day, by the week. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised he gets better draft capital than Zach Evans. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised. From what I hear, from what I see on tape, I feel like Rashawn Johnson's a safe bet. Kendre Miller's a good bet. I want to see where Izzy goes in the draft. I'm very interested in that. I think Kenny McIntosh will get good draft capital here. I'm pretty sure on that. I think Kenny McIntosh will get damn good draft capital due to him being from Georgia, how he catches the ball in the backfield, how explosive he is. Sean Tucker's interesting too. I think he'll go probably third round. Maybe late seconds. Something like that. I want to watch what he does. Zach Evans, I'm very skeptical, but I'm not moving him down until the draft tells me to, unless I don't need to. Tajay Spears, I might have him up, but he's definitely not going lower. Evan Hall's one of my guys in later rounds. I'll draft him in the 4th round every day, late 3rd round every day in my drafts. I really want to see where he goes. Deuce Vaughn, I'm interested in, and I'm not going to ignore, but the price has to be right. Chase Brown, Muhammad Ibrahim, I like those guys. Chris Rodriguez, he's kind of slow on tape, but he has been productive. Dwayne McBride needs to catch the ball more. Keaton Mitchell's explosive. Could be a surprise pick for us. That could be a surprise guy. But I'm pretty set with these rankings. This is what I like. Rashawn Johnson's the major riser of the week for me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about it. Smash that subscribe button on the way out. It's only going to help you. I'm going to have a lot coming from the combine. A lot. I had a lot last year. I'm going to have more this year. Keep you guys ready. Get you guys ready for your rookie drafts and everything else. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.